Welcome back to Inside Politics. Our guest today is Tennessee House Speaker Beth Harwell. Speaker Harwell, another controversy that dominated the headlines several times during the last legislative session was the sexual harassment scandal involving Representative Jeremy Durham. Where does that investigation that you had authorized by the Attorney General stand? We've had a preliminary report. When do you expect the final report to come back?
I don't know. It's completely in the Attorney General's hands, and I think that was the appropriate course of action. It takes it outside the legislature, gives it to a body that's independent and has the subpoena power.
There continue to be rumors up on the Hill that the investigation is grown larger, that it may involve other lawmakers, other staffers, other things. Is that your understanding? Has the Attorney General kept you advised that this has gotten larger, or is it still focused strictly on Representative Durham and his actions on the Hill?
It's strictly limited in focus because it was the ad hoc committee that instructed the Attorney General to do that, and it was a limited investigation.
Now, when the preliminary AG report came out, it indicated that they thought that Representative Durham might be a continuing threat to unknowing staffers and women on the Hill. So you banished the representative in terms of his office from the Legislative Plaza over to the Rachel Jackson building, except for his official duties. Has that been effective? Has that worked the way you thought it would, and will it stay in effect if you both come back in the legislature in 2017?
Yes. The answer to both of those is yes. I think it has been effective, and yes, it will stay in place.
Did you consider even stronger actions when you got back there? You had one time talked about moving with an ouster procedure again. Did you feel like you needed more than just the preliminary report to move forward?
I don't have the ability to move forward doing that. That takes 2/3 of the vote of the legislative body. That would not be my decision. All that was in the control of the Speaker was done.
Do you plan to renew your effort to oust him if he comes back into the legislature and you're still the Speaker, assuming the report is in your hands by there and it's as bad, if not worse, than what we've already seen?
That would be up to the ad hoc committee. The report does not come back to the Speaker. The report comes to the ad hoc committee.
If the ad hoc committee comes back to you and says, yeah, we think you ought, this is what we think.
Then the legislative body would have to take action.
Now, you'll be in a slightly different parliamentary situation, it seems to me, if you're both returned to your current positions. I believe the Constitution, state Constitution, says that each house will determine the qualifications of their members, and they're the sole authority about that. He has to still be sworn into his new office. Might you seek for him not to take the oath of office, not to be allowed to even become a member of the legislature?
Again, that would not be up to me. That would be up to 2/3 of both the bodies to make that decision.
So we take a 2/3 vote to do that at this point. Would you?
And we would have to seek legal counsel on all of this.
Are you in a position where you would at least explore that opportunity with legal counsel?
I've explored every option.
In the wake of the scandal, you also appointed a blue ribbon panel to take a look at the policies and procedures that were already in place in the legislature regarding how to report sexual harassment, how investigations should be handled. That group has come back to you, I believe, giving you a lot of the best practices in other states. So what happens now? Okay,
it is now given to my resource policy expert, along with the attorney from both the Senate and the House, which are drafting new policies for the state. If there's something that could come out of this, I think it certainly has been this. I have been blessed with a lot of people offering to help. We had an excellent blue ribbon committee that reviewed our whole policy. Our policy was 19 years old. It was more than time to update it, and I think Tennessee will be better served by having a new policy in place.
Could you tell us briefly how it might change in terms of what would happen in terms of reporting sexual harassment and how an investigation would be handled?
I don't have it all completed yet, but I know that there will be more transparency. I realize that we needed to have people have more of a sense of confidence that they could go and talk to someone, so we will have an outside agency work with the State Department, so whoever feels like they've been a victim will have an avenue other than just the legality. Whatever you decide to do, is there already going to be a little bit of a shadow over that, because the legislature did approve a bill and the governor signed it that basically says if somebody sues the state and they lose, they're going to have to pay all the loser pay bill come through there. A lot of people say that was somewhat aimed at people going after lawmakers, perhaps because they have sexually harassed them or done something else to them, that they've gone to legal redress and they didn't win. I didn't support the bill, but it does not apply just to lawmakers. It applies to all state employees, and it was more in needs of protecting people that provide child abuse case workers, etc., those type of people, social workers. And again, when these are finalized, what's the process for getting them in place? Do you have to approve them? Does the House itself have to approve them? No, the Senate, Lieutenant Governor, and the Speaker of the House approve. So they don't. So the Lieutenant Governor has to get involved in the process. We're talking about the policy. They don't go out as a resolution or as part of the rules of the House or the Senate at this point. That's correct.
there is an open governor's race in 2 years. Your name keeps coming up. I think before we went on the air, you told me you were going around helping members do some fundraising as trying to get them reelected to the legislature for next year. Are you also going around doing the rubber chicken circuit and the ham and biscuit thing in the morning, sort of easing around to see where things are for 2 years?
Well, you know, one of the things I enjoy most about being speaker is getting to travel our beautiful state, everywhere from Memphis to Mountain City. And so as many times as I have an opportunity to meet with folks, I'm glad to do it. It's an honor to be speaker, and I'm fully focused on the next election cycle.
You're focused on this election cycle, and worry about 2018 later. But there are already people talking about wanting to be a candidate. Bill Lee, a Nashville businessman, brought his name up in recent days. He's thinking about doing it. It's going to be an open governor's seat. There will not be an incumbent. That always brings a crowd. Do you expect a potentially crowded field?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's, you know, our state is in a wonderful condition. You can thank your Tennessee General Assembly and the wonderful Governor Bill Haslam. We're one of the few states in the nation that is in good, sound financial shape and is making wise decisions for our state moving forward. We're a prosperous state right now, so there'll be a lot of people that will want to assume that role.
Nationally, the Republican Party has been in a bit of turmoil over its presidential selection. It looks like Donald Trump's going to be the nominee. You say you will support him as the nominee. But he's not necessarily your preferred choice?
Right. You know, I think Senator Corker has the right idea. If Trump is our nominee, then we all need to do everything we can to make him a strong potential president, because he very well could be president. So you want someone like a Bob Corker advising him on international relations and financial conditions of the state, and other wise people.
Bob Corker's name comes up as a potential gubernatorial candidate. Are there some folks who, if they decide to run for governor, you'll decide you'll wait for another time or not run?
You know, we'll just wait and see what it brings. Senator Corker is certainly someone I admire tremendously.
Getting back to Donald Trump, he's not likely to come here, but if he did, would you campaign for him here in Tennessee, or for that matter, go across the state? You're a prominent woman lawmaker across the country. He has a problem with women. Would you be willing to help him in other states to say he is the person who ought to be president?
You know, as I said to you earlier, I am fully committed to my state House members right now, and I've made it a point since I've been Speaker to stay out of the state Senate, stay out of anybody else's role, but just maintain my state House commitment, and that's where I'll do.
Speaker Harwell, thank you so much for coming on, and I'm sure we'll have you back as things develop.
Good to be here.
And thank you for joining us this week on Inside Politics. Hope you can be back here again for a future show. If you can't get enough politics in the meantime, go to the News Channel 5 website. You'll find my Capitol View commentary there. There's a new commentary posted every Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you back here next time. Goodbye.